Welcome back to turn 4 of Concrete Hell. So we're still in the early phases. We're starting to, I'm starting to get the impression that Chap is trying to move his forces so he can isolate Objective Alpha. So it's kind of looked like that's going to be his objective all the way through. And that's fine. I want him to get kind of stuck into a fight in one of these objectives. I want to fix him in place so I can smash his infantry with the mortars. So I haven't really done very much as of yet. As a prediction, I reckon the turn's going to start off with Chap shooting up something in Alpha with his fire support, and then pushing his infantry forward. So these guys, we'll see if these guys move. I think these are the interesting ones. Like if they're going to move towards the town, or if they're just going to stay there. And then up here we have another kind of point of interest. There's these guys here, which I think are moving into position to work the cut-off, as it were, and cut off that line behind the objective. And this is all about preparing, getting into position and preparing it for an attack when it actually comes. So yeah, let's press go and see what we get. There we go. So he's shooting up over here and this building here. And oh yeah, somebody's crossing the road there. That's what we want to see. And there as well. So yeah, look, if he's suppressing that those windows there, which isn't the building where the RPG is, to cover the his infantry crossing the highway there. So yep, looking good. I regained the spot on those guys. So this sniper team, Jack Volkert started hiding because they're getting a little bit close. But yeah, so that's developed pretty much exactly as anticipated. And you see very clearly Chap is covering his movement with fires here. Or supporting fire. And yeah, what's that? That's another Jimpy. M240 for the non-Brits out there. Is that this team though? Because that could be a reliable indicator. I don't think so. Oh, pause. Yep, so we have one M240 team. And we have... that's the HQ element. Okay, it is those guys then. Right, okay. Interesting. So an American infantry platoon is HQ, 3 rifle squads, and 2 M240s. We've got 1 M240 and the HQ, and then some associated infantry. So I am increasingly... there's another one. I know I saw one somewhere. How do I get the saw mixed up with that? I don't know. It's so big. Yeah, and then we had another one up here. So when I was doing I did go into the force selection. I started messing around, having a look at back plotting Chap's force. And if we factor the vehicles we've seen so far in, so 2 strikers with Mark 19s and 2 non-ERA Bradleys, that I reckon that leaves them about 2 platoons worth of infantry. So we're definitely looking at 1 platoon here because we have that trio. We have infantry, but it's kind of hard to pin down exactly how many riflemen are there. But we've got the platoon HQ and the 2 M240s, and that's a big giveaway. And then over here, we know there's another M240 because that was shooting up the far side of the the little paddy field there. So yeah, 2 platoons that looks like that's, you know, we're in the ballpark for that there. And then, yeah, these are the guys who crossed the road. See, there's a little dip here that they can hide behind. Dip, a little bit of ground. A hillock. Well, not really. A lump. Just a lump of ground. Yeah, still so far. So, what's really good about this is that the screen is working really well. I feel like I have a really good idea of what Chap's up to, and that is entirely from 3 sniper teams. Now, my guys, the actual soldiers from Speed Bump Battalion and the infantry platoons have no idea, but I do, because in combat mission the human player is this kind of gestalt hive mind thing controlling all the pixel truppen. Let's see what these guys doing here. Oh, they're moving up. That is an M240 team. Is that the same M240 team that was there? Yeah, maybe, maybe not. Did we get an image of these guys? Yes, there they go, crossing the road there. And that horrendous UCP camo. And it just never seemed like a good idea. OCP or multicam, much better. Oh, there was somebody here as well, was there? Just trying to catch up with all of the stuff that's going on. Yes, so brief. Yeah, people are starting to get into the. It's a field of sprites, sprite field. I don't know what crop that is. Corn or something. I don't know. But yeah, so he is. You know, he's been nice and slow and careful, and at the moment he's fighting from a position where he can easily achieve fire superiority. He's got all his fire support back here. We're seeing the M240 teams up with the infantry. You know, it makes sense, which is why I'm not going to fight him out here on the edge of the bloody town, because he'll smack me about with the with his fire support, of which he has a lot. That's quite interesting, though. If that's his platoon HQ up there. Okay, so there's a bit of a berm here. Maybe they're going to go in and call... be on hand to be able to call fire support. If he has any. I haven't seen any evidence of that yet. But they're quite far forward, so that might imply that there are more American troops far forward there. So, do we need to start thinking about the defense of Objective Alpha? Well, probably, yeah. I mean, that seems like a good move, doesn't it? These guys can actually... Let's go back before we start. I have to finish the turn before I do any orders or anything, don't I? So let's... It's always good to just fast forward through the turn, because then you can get this kind of... You can get a general impression of what's going on. So yeah. One platoon moving forward here, one platoon moving forward here. There, these guys move forward, which is interesting. Maybe a scout team or something. Just this is the problem when you want to attack one place. If you telegraph your intentions to the enemy, then they can react to it. Just checking to see if one of those was another M240 team, because, you know, more intel. The Bradley popped up as well. I missed that. I have to look into how much ammo the Bradleys have, actually. But he is also being very careful with them. He's just popping them up to hold down and then engaging and then rolling back. So it's hard for the AT-13s at the back, Outlander and Simple Winds, to actually target them. What damage do we get to the front of this building here then? Does he blow that in? No. Right, so yeah, nothing more to see there. Let's start thinking about whether we can move these guys around. Like, can they see through that gap? No. Okay, so I'm starting to think about keyholes. So do I want to put this squad into a keyhole position? If I put them on this corner, you know, they can start looking this way. Where they are, they honestly actually can't see very much. I was expecting them to be able to see that door at least, but they doesn't look like they can. How effectively Chap might be able to put fire on that little sub-building there? It does look like there's a Bradley or a... Oh no, the Bradleys are up there, aren't they? A Mark 19 contacts nearby. Whether he can actually target... Where am I even looking? There. Whether he can actually target the building there, I'm not sure, but he can certainly, like, fire in the general direction. So it might be worth popping these guys forward. Certainly don't want to go into the upper stories because that will be bad. Because they'll be completely exposed. Might need to start thinking about moving second platoon up as well. So let's give it another turn before we actually move anything. So the pre-planned bombardments come in at the 0, 5, 10 and 15 minute mark. So if Chap does have any artillery and he set it up and it, you know, obviously looks like he's going for alpha, definitely something I would do is drop artillery down the back of it, like say across the road there, to try and isolate it, so the defender can't reinforce it. I don't want to be moving second platoon here across that road during an artillery strike. So if he does it, it's too late. We'll be able to manage that. But I don't want him caught out in the open. I'm not too worried about sustaining casualties, but I am worried about losing combat power. Which is similar, but different. Now, where can we... So a smart person would think about all this stuff in advance, about where you would send your reinforcements based on what the enemy is doing. So if you're playing combat mission, try and do that. That's a good idea. Pro tip. Still not too close to them. And then we have the other interestingness, which is, can I actually move around inside these buildings tremendously well? So yeah, let's shuffle them into there, and they can actually go through the door. Okay, good. That's always a good start. They should. Yeah, see, they can kind of... He got reverse slope aim points and things all the way up on that road. All the way back to the Mark 19 up there. But I really want them to be to concentrate on the doorways, you know. So I want to be able to check that, and I want to be able to check that. So actually, let's crawl forward, and we'll give them a short target arc, like, oh, I don't know. Let's include that berm. Because this is a natural place for Chap to put some immediate fire support if he goes up there. So hopefully they should go in there, crawl in there nice and sneakily, and hide, and they're on that short target arc, so they shouldn't open up at anything until they get too close. Really, part of me really wants to do something terrible to whatever's crossing the road, but I just don't have anything in position to do that. If I could bring one of the AA trucks down, but the Bradley down there will just annihilate it, and there's not a lot we can do about that. I'm not getting into a face-to-face fight with a Bradley. No, don't think so. So yeah, I mean, this turn we're actually going to move something. I guess that's progress. But yeah, if there is no enemy artillery in the next turn, we need to start thinking about moving second platoon in, because it looks like, and then shuffling these units up to take their place in Bravo, because it really looks like Alpha is Chap's objective here. So yeah, let's press that go button and send it back to him, and then I'm going to go and check how long I can get those 120mm mortars to fire for, because we're going through this pretty quickly actually, and I want to use all my ammunition.